So I have to talk about Britain again. We have Keir Starmer that is giving an address to the country, and he's talking about the problems with the protests. But he says nothing about the people who are attacking them, the immigrants that are attacking these protests. They punish the government. The British government punishes people for their speech, that it's supposed to be free speech. They punish these people, but they do almost next to nothing about the violent crime and the other crimes that these migrants are causing in that country. We have Lucy Connolly that has just been released from incarceration. She was threatened with 5 years in prison because she spoke out about the mass migration and the problems that it was causing, and she was very angry about it, like any British patriot would be. Anybody would be angry when you have an influx of foreign people coming into your country and doing all kinds of things that they should not be doing, committing all kinds of crimes that are, obviously by extension, violating the rights of the people that are already there. Of course, people are angry, but the British government wants to incarcerate these people for their speech. And yes, it is, the intellectual foundations is nihilism. And yes, there's a degree of incompetency. But you look at the policies of what the government is doing in the UK, that it is creating a situation that's deliberately punishing the British people for being British people, and are facilitating the introduction of another culture that does not respect the culture that they're coming into. I'm sure you've seen the video of these two undercover female police officers in the United Kingdom. I don't remember the city that they were in, but they were trying to catch people that were, in America, we would call catcalling, people that, that hit on them. Okay. And these women look like they're about, give or take, maybe about 30 or so in age, relatively attractive. And they wanted to catch these people doing that. They say nothing about, what about the Pakistani grooming gangs that are targeting British children? What about people who expose it? Tommy Robinson, who tried to expose that, got prison time for this. Think about what the United Kingdom's government is doing, okay? They're outlawing basic behavior that would actually do more for the country. Your birth rates are below replacement level, so what do? You try to punish any kind of normal man-woman interaction. You got a massive immigration problem, so you bring in more migrants, and you feed and shelter the illegal migrants that got into your country, and putting them in these really nice hotels. Meanwhile, you have economic problems throughout your country. You have the deindustrialization of your country. You have people that would speak out about, like Lucy Connolly did, about the problem, and she gets threatened with 5 years in prison. I mean, you're in a situation in Britain, if things get any worse, you're not going to be able to vote your way out of this. This is very, very bad. Here in the United States, it's not as bad. It's not perfect. We have our own problems. And yes, there was an attempt to clamp down on our free speech, but people would have ignored that. They would have spoke out anyway, and that's exactly what the British people should do. They should speak out regardless. They should get the message out. They should talk the way they need to talk. And if enough people do that, they can't arrest all of you, okay? Something has definitely got to change in the United Kingdom. I hope that things don't just collapse economically and it turns into anarchy in the UK. But if things get so bad, if the elite in London continue to ignore the problem in their own little bubble that they're in, that they don't have to live with the problems that they've created, if this continues, I fear that the talk of civil war is an actual possibility. I hope not. I hope that that the Britain and other Western countries can get back on their feet again, and they could do what should be done to these elites and get them out of office, and then throw a lot of these people in prison.